So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Evening, everybody. Oh, never changed my background. Evening, everybody. How are things going? Arsenal on the horizon. Sure, everybody's absolutely delighted for it. But we are going to cover it. We're going to talk about the team sheets as they do come out, and there's going to be a lot of. I suppose there's going to be I'm here for all of you guys to read into what is and who isn't playing and who will be playing and who's on the bench and whatever. And I'm going to join along with you guys because I'm going to do it too, because I think there's a lot of questions that are going to be asked between now and probably the World Cup break about literally every single turn that the club make. And it's all right as fans to be able to do that. And it's all right as fans to be able to sit here, and some fans to be able to see things in context and in the context that they wish to see it. And it's other people's right to be completely up in arms over stuff, and as I say, we'll all get through it together, and hopefully we'll learn a small bit along the way. But every game needs to be played, because that's just the rules, I suppose. Number one, and I don't see this Arsenal team being an undefeated team throughout the course of the season. So, as we go through this team sheet tantrum today, we're going to look for ways in which potentially Aston Villa can win this game. Because as I say, what's the point in doing it otherwise? What's the point in being a fan if you don't have any hope? What's the point in being a fan if you don't want your team to succeed, even though you feel that parts of the club or part of the ethos of the club and stuff like that are not going the way that you wish it to go? So we will look at that today for in this game. We'll obviously scrutinize the players that are picked. I see in a couple of comments there, I suppose the big name, and one for me as well, is Douglas Luiz in the team today. I have, if we're going by people who have said things over this transfer window and have been proven to be correct in what they've said, the same person who said the Sarr deal was off before absolutely everybody else has said that Douglas Luiz is not leaving in this transfer window. So it'll be interesting to see if that does come to fruition, and if he does start today. I think it would be absolute madness for him not to start today. I think it would be absolute madness if he's not in the team today. I think that you name him in the team and you let him figure it out then afterwards, because he's an Aston Villa player, and he was pivotal to the way that we at least structured our play in the first half against West Ham. And I think we need him with regards to that two-man pivot again. And I think over time, and I think I mightn't even be too surprised to see it today, but I think that we will see a bit more of a defensive look to midfield. Look, let's just get it out of the way. McGinn is most likely going to start this game as well, but we're going to see what kind of rotation is in the front three. And we have the players that we have at the moment. Tomorrow's a completely different day. We might sign somebody, we may not sign somebody. We may sign 3 players on loan, we may sign 1 player on loan, we might sign 10 players on free transfers. I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, but I'm going to hope for the best. And I'm going to want Aston Villa to sign players. And if Aston Villa sign a 32-year-old centre-half, 32 years old and 117 days, born in Rochdale, playing with West Ham United by the name of Craig Dawson, if they sign him, I'm going to see is there some way that he's going to fit into the team. If they sign Lucas Moura has averaged 25 starts, 1,887 minutes over the last 4 games for Spurs, or for the last 4 years, should I say, Spurs. Maybe he offers something to the team. Maybe bringing in somebody like him means that we are going to change to a 4-2-3-1 formation. I don't know. We'll see who comes in tomorrow, but today is not about transfer talk. Today, we're going to keep it about Arsenal and about Villa, because we will be the whole day tomorrow talking about transfer talk. And as I say, it's just my luck. It's Murphy's Law that on transfer deadline day, between 7:30 and roughly about 10 o'clock, I will be complete radio silence. Now, judging by what people are saying, it won't matter a jot, because Aston Villa aren't going to sign anybody anyway. So I might have nothing to do. But I could also be extremely busy come 10 o'clock when I actually have time and I get back to the computer to be able to do some podcasting. So I hope you stay with me. I hope you guys will tolerate me. I hope you guys will tolerate the fact that I'm not going to be, at this moment in time, until the dust settles after the transfer window, I'm not going to be banging the table tonight. I'm just going to be trying to see in some way, shape, or form, is there a way that we're going to be able to at least put up a game against Arsenal? And that's going to start with the team, which will be announced in a minute. So that's my very long 5-minute soliloquy out of the way. Thank you very much to the 203 of you guys who've joined me today. I'm just, apologies, I was a small bit late. I'm actually covered in what I can only describe as a toddler's dinner. Well, she's not even a toddler yet, but a child's dinner. So I don't know if you probably can't see it, but I've got it all on my front. So I did get delayed with that, and I do apologize. Let's take a look at some of your comments. If you don't mind, I love you guys, and you know the way I love transfers. Transfer season is the best season. These last 3 months have been the best 3 months of for this podcast. Would you believe, guys, that we've done 80%? We've done 65% of all of the podcast total listens over the last and views over the last 3 months. We've done 65% of the total over the last 3 months. And that's because of you guys. And that's because I absolutely love you. And that's because you guys have been so good to the podcast. And I really appreciate everything. But that just goes to show how much I love the transfer window and how much I try and put into it, because yes, we get linked to players left, right, and centre. I want to know about them. So I'm going to be disappointed the transfer window is going to be closed. I'm going to be disappointed with the business that we've done if we don't sign anybody. But let's take a little look at, and when I am reading the comments today, guys, I will keep it to Arsenal and Arsenal West Ham, which I had up on the screen a minute ago by mistake, as opposed to Arsenal and Villa. It's been a long week. I will keep it to the game tonight if you don't mind. It's just the head is a small bit tired from talking about transfers for the moment. We should probably have team news, I would imagine. So let me have a little check there, and we do have a starting 11, and I hate the fact that we're wearing our third kit, but when we have a starting 11, that means one thing and one thing only: we've got a team alert. Team alert. Let me bring up my my window here, guys. So our starting 11 is out, and we don't have any Douglas Luiz in the team, but we do have him on the bench. That's straight away. For me, that makes me sad boy. So we've got Martinez, Cash, Konza, Mings returns from illness, Digne, McGinn, Kamara, Ramsey, Bailey, Watkins, Buendia. So I suppose really from what we've been looking for and what we've been looking at, I suppose, over the last couple of weeks, people have been crying out for Buendia to start. Buendia is starting today. I suppose that is a positive. For me, I can't understand how Jacob Ramsey, or like how one of Jacob Ramsey, well, actually, I'm just going to say Jacob Ramsey is in there over Douglas Luiz based on performance of last week. Look, McGinn is going to start, whether we think he should or whether we think he shouldn't. He is going to start, and as I say, I don't really mind what three start up in attack, as long as they start to work and as long as they start to contribute. I think that we are going to go wide with Bailey and Buendia. I think Buendia is going to be played slightly wider, and so is Bailey. But once again, it's just all about effort up there and about making sure that we don't get caught in the break, because Saka is going to have an absolute field day, I think, today, and I'm absolutely terrified about the threat that he poses. Our substitutes are Robin Olsen, Callum Chambers, Augustinson, Young, Douglas Luiz, Tim, Coutinho, Archer, and Ings. So no real surprises on the bench there. For me, I don't think there's any surprises. I would expect Tim to be involved a good bit over the course of the next few weeks and months. Even if we do sign somebody, I think that he likes Tim, and I think we should always have. No, there's 5 subs. We should have that ability to have younger players on the bench with the likes of Tim and the likes of Archer. I think that's okay. But looking at this team, you know, you just have to look at that midfield. I'm not going to say midfield 3 because I don't want to taint Kamara with the same brush. But you just look at the other midfield too, and look, Jacob Ramsey. I think we all know Jacob Ramsey has lots and lots of talent, and we know McGinn is a good player. He's going through a bad patch and he's not playing well at the moment. Look, everybody was calling for him for Scotland when he was scoring all those goals. At the end of last season, he had a 5-game patch, the last 5 games of the season, where I thought he played really well. He had 2 assists, and only for the Liverpool game, I think it was, in that 5-game stretch, you know, he was one of our standout players for those last 5 games. Look, he hasn't been good in the first 4 games. Or sorry, he's been good in one of the first 4 games that we've played so far this season, and he needs to step it up. He is now the captain. I hold him to a higher standard. I would really like to have seen a shake up in midfield there. I would have liked to seen us. I would like to have liked to seen us even go ultra defensive there. Play Tim, play Douglas Luiz there. Put up a massive wall in front of our back two. You know, we can do whatever we want to like that in midfield. We need to start trying something. Doesn't look like we're going to try it in this instance here, unless we're playing Kamara and McGinn as two holding midfielders. Jacob Ramsey's played a small bit forward. I genuinely couldn't tell you what way that midfield is going to set up. All I know is I can see ways through it. I can see it being passive. I can see them breaking through that midfield very, very easily, albeit it won't be Kamara's fault. The elephant in the room as well, guys. The absolute elephant in the room we're talking about here. How far up are Cash and Dean are going to go? Like it's rinse, repeat at this at the same time. It really is. And like I'm not even too thrilled with Konza being back there either. You guys will know I think Konza's had a very absolutely dismal start to the season. I think he's been really poor. I think he was really poor towards the end of last season. And I think Callum Chambers deserves an opportunity to go in there. I just think so. And I think a lot of people here will agree with me when I get to the comments in a moment. But like, we're sitting here now again. Game. Is anybody in there? Does anybody remember how many games Steven Gerrard has been over Aston Villa at this moment in time? And you can hear it in my voice, guys. It's a bit tiring. I can't remember how many games. Is it 36, 38 games? I can't remember how many games he's managed Aston Villa at the moment. And we're sitting here now and we're kind of going, how are our front three going to set up? Are we going to play with 2 10s? Are we going to play them wide? Where's Ramsey going to play? How far up are our fullbacks going to go? Are we just going to resort to crossing the ball? And it goes back to the thing that Paddy says that I hate the phrase lack of identity, but I understand what it means. I think it feels very buzzwordy for me. You know, it's like our game plan is either we do have a game plan. Our game plan is to be as predictable as possible, and that's what we tend to be. And I'm just hoping. And once again, I'm saying it here. I'm hoping our midfield three absolutely click today. I'm hoping we get an early goal. And I'm hoping we learn how to defend early goals because we haven't shown that we can do it over the last 12 calendar months. We haven't shown we can do it since people came back into stadiums. We haven't really shown we can do it since Leicester when Ross Barkley scored that last minute goal. Put up a rear guard defence. Today would be a good time to do it, mind. Today would be a good night to do it. I'd settle for a 0-0 draw. It's highly unlikely. We can't stop conceding goals, but I'd settle for a 0-0 draw today. How do you guys feel about it? Let's look at some of your comments there. Let's look at some of your comments. I'm just going to scroll down here, and AVFC Stato says here we're playing our third kit. Neil, we ain't winning. Yeah, there's a big hoodoo with our third kit, and when we wear it, and the lack of wins that we've had in it, and I'm sure Stato will throw that up here in a moment. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Renewed RS says, not happy with people saying Ramsey isn't good enough. He's one of the top youngsters in the country. He is, but I think where he's been played and the way that this midfield has been played, and if you're going to play him as an auxiliary fullback, well then, you know, I think he's been wasted, to be honest with you, doing that role. I think he is. And I think that if we were to go to a 4-2-3-1 and play him maybe a bit further up the field, I think it suits him an awful lot better. Very good player. That's the disappointment I have with him. Is that the longer, and this season, this specifically the first 4 games of this season, when he's played, he carried the ball a bit against Everton, but the whole team clicked against Everton. I thought they played well. But since then, you know, it's from a defensive point of view, we need defenders because we can't, our back four are so AWOL at the moment. Well, sorry, our winger, our fullbacks are so AWOL at the moment in defense for a lot of the time. So I don't think that Luis not starting today. I don't think Luis being on the bench today means that he's off. I don't think that. But then again, look, as I said, tomorrow is a completely different day. Where are we, guys? So I'm just gonna scroll down here towards talk about the actual team. And apologies once again for those who joined a bit late. I don't have it in me for transfers tonight. It's team and about Arsenal tonight, so I do apologize. Tomorrow is a different day. We will be speaking about stuff tomorrow and so on. Where are we? I like this as well, Simon. We need to stick together tonight. If we somehow get a point or more, I think it would be huge. I think it would be absolutely monumentally massive for Aston Villa to get a point tonight, considering the ton of bricks of misery and much of our own making that we've brought, that the club, not our making as fans, don't get me wrong there. I think as much as the club's making. I think for us to get anything out of the game tonight, I think could be something that we could build upon. It would stop a rut. It would also, we're not going to get it. Doesn't I could confidently say we're not going to get anything from Man City at the weekend either. It doesn't look like it. Morale is low amongst fans, and I don't think anybody else is going to be too going to have their mind blown to hear me say that. But I think anything out of tonight's game, like a must not lose game tonight, that's what I'm going to call it, as opposed to a must win. Anything out of tonight, I think, is a positive. I really do. And I agree with you there. And Simon, I think the team needs to stick together tonight in the face of adversity. I think so for sure. Sam Bentley said the Chambers should be an over Konza. I agree. Sean says that we're going for pace against the Gunners here. And I don't think that's a bad tactic either, I can understand why Buendia and Bailey are playing up there. I just hope they're playing in the way that we would expect them to play. Like this, like having Buendia and Bailey up there. You guys will remember my tactics piece that I did. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to be scurrilous and I'm going to share that again for you guys. And then we're going to take a look at the Arsenal team as well. But let me just see where I had this. So if we take it that this is, I don't know if you guys can see this. If we take it that this is the way the team is going to lay out tonight, you've got Kamara here, number 44 in the middle. I've got Luis in here because I thought it would be Douglas Luiz. If we switch that to be John McGinn, and then if where John McGinn is up closer to the centre circle, up to the halfway line there, if we had maybe Jacob Ramsey in that situation here, and we played Bailey wide left, Buendia wide right, we had them crossing in front of. They don't have Partey, they don't have El Neni. We're going to look at their team in a moment. I don't know who they're playing at the moment. We'll look at that in a moment. If we have them crossing across there, I think we could cause damage. So it all just depends on how we set up. If we set up with two people a bit deeper, and look, I don't really care. Like, it would be great if it was Douglas Luiz, but if it's John McGinn, he has a great game, fantastic. I just, he hasn't started like a train this season. But it's all about how the team is going to be laid out tonight. And if we do go with that double pivot in front of the defense, and lest we forget, guys, when Dean Smith was absolutely flying it in that year when we were the second year in the Premier League, when Dean Smith was flying it, or had the team flying it, John McGinn did play with that double pivot with Douglas Luiz, and then we changed from that. We changed from that to go three in midfield and to have Ross Barkley further forward. So there's an interesting dynamic with that, albeit that I don't think that we will set out that way. I think we'll just go to our flat midfield again. We'll be all tearing our hair out after 15 minutes and hoping that we get a draw. But look, that's where we are at the moment, I think. And Marine Boy says Villa still playing two at the back. Yeah, it feels like it, doesn't it? It feels like we're playing two at the back at the moment. But as I say, if we were to play in this situation and we had Dino bombing forward, we do need the crisscross of the two inverted wingers to happen. I just think it's pivotal at this stage that we see them swapping positions all the time. And if it means that we swap them to open up space wide so we can go with diagonal balls, well, so be it. If we do that, we keep our fullbacks back a bit further, because it just creates options for everybody. And then it allows Cash to go a small bit further forward if you've got those two people crossing there, because it creates consternation and it keeps them on the back foot running backwards, as opposed to setting up for a counter-attack, which teams find it very easy to do for us, because they just expect us to float a ball into one or two in the box. And they can actually, you see a team set up to counter-attack us very early out. Before we even cross the ball, they're lining people up at the edge of the box to get that header out, because they know we're not going to win the header. And that's a very frustrating thing. Let's take a little look at the Arsenal team. Where is it? Share screen on the Arsenal. Okay, so here we are. Arsenal lineups tonight. Ramsdale and goals. White, Saliba and Gabriel. So they're playing with their back three again. And Tierney is in there. Lokonga, Xhaka, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and all behind Jesus. So it looks like they're probably going to play with that back four when, it's a back four, but it's realistically a back three. And Kieran Tierney goes wild around the field all the time is what usually happens. White, Saliba, and Gabriel are a formidable trio there for absolute sure. Lokonga Sambi is very underrated. I think if Arsenal were willing to let him go on loan, I would definitely take him on loan to bulk up our midfield area. I think he was really promising last season, and he's in there alongside Granit Xhaka. Just goes to show the strength and depth of their midfield. Granit Xhaka gets pilloried from pillar to post. He's still he'd still waltz into our team and probably be our best. Himself and Kamara would be absolutely fantastic back there because they kick everything that moved. And then look, we've got Odegaard, Martinelli, and Saka to deal with. And then look, what was it, 50-60 million pound man, Gabriel Jesus up top. So a formidable afternoon's work I think we have cut out for us. But remember as well, at the weekend Arsenal didn't have it all their own way, and Odegaard is very much the man that makes them tick. So I think if we can stop the ball going wide early to Saka and stop him getting a head of steam up, I think that would be one thing. But also holding down the middle, because Odegaard has been an absolutely sparkling signing for them. He's been really, really good. Their substitutes are Turner, Cedric, Tomiyasu, Holding, Smith, Vieira, Smith Rowe, Marquinhos, and then Nketiah. So when we look at it, I suppose they've got players they can bring off the bench. Vieira, they spent 32 million on him. I don't think he's played much so far since he's came in. Good player. Emile Smith Rowe, we were linked with him for 30 million. He had a fantastic season last year. He's on Arsenal's bench. Arsenal's squad is really good at the moment. And I think what they did is they just needed to have that big time striker, and they've got him in Gabriel Jesus. And they're reaping the rewards of that now, along with the fact that they've slowly but surely retooled that backline. Saliba didn't work out immediately. He had to be loaned back to France. He's now come good. Ben White is a brilliant player. Kieran Tierney's been there a couple of years. He's a real leader within that team. As I say, Lokonga is somebody that bought last year, I think, from Anderlecht, if I'm not mistaken, 20 million. He's been developed over the course of a year, and now he's coming in this game tonight. And I don't expect him to look out of place at all. So Arteta has had time to be able to retool this squad over the last 2 years or so, and he's done it in a really good way. He's been backed with money, and he's been backed again with money this year. I can't remember what they've spent. I actually have it written down here for a piece I was going to do. But they have spent money, and we haven't. So I think a lot of the time when we look at, yes, Steven Gerrard's tactics are abysmal at times, but where's this big summer that we were promised? Where's this big summer of spending we were promised? And I don't buy that the board just wouldn't give Steven Gerrard money because they don't trust him. Because if they don't trust him, they would have sacked him. You sack a manager and then you make sure that you put your club in the best position to progress. So I think maybe they haven't given him money for whatever reason, but I don't think it's because that they're unsure whether they want him to stay on as manager, because that to me is indecision. If we're indecision at board level, we're wasting our time. And that will all be spoken about over the coming days and weeks. I am 100% sure. Did I say that, Josh? Did I say straight away that makes me a sad boy? I think I did. See, I'll tell you guys, I'm running on about an hour's sleep as well, so I do apologize if my if I feel like, or if I sound like I'm a small bit lethargic today. Let's have a look at some of these. The comments. Spencer Bakewell says today, fullbacks need to be defenders. We have to defend as a unit and then catch them on the break. Absolutely. We need to go back to Dean Smith ball today, big style, and not Gerrard ball, because Gerrard ball is way too expensive and way too slow. At least Dean Smith ball was get it forward as fast as you can, whether it's long or whatever, and then just but be tight at the back. And try and keep things measured at the back. And look, I'll absolutely take that. I'll take that all day long. Daniel, you're right. At least wear a jersey for your preview, or you've given up, Neil. Would you believe I even brought one out here and everything to put it on? But it didn't work last week either. So I've given up on my theory. For that. Let's just say, right, if we win today, I'll make sure I do every single team sheet tantrum covered in baby food. That can be our new thing. Now. Pop on a jersey before it's too late. I see a couple of people are saying that. There was one thing there. There's one there I completely missed it about a flat back four. Yeah, Marine Boy says I'd love to see Villa with a flat back four. I would absolutely adore that today. I just don't see it happening. Now it could, but I just don't think. I don't think. Nothing leads me to believe, based on historic information of how Stephen Gerrard sets up a team, that he won't allow our fullbacks to absolutely bomb on with wild abandon. And yeah, that's it. Really, that's the way that we seem to be set up. Jordy Villan, I love this 7-2 win coming here. I'd love it. Imagine if we did. The post match would literally just be half an hour of me with my face just like wide and my jaw about 6 foot on the floor. Another one here from Pierre O'Dowd. What a fantastic name. Counter attack is the best way to win tonight. I think it's the only way we win tonight, to be honest with you. I don't think we're going to outplay this Arsenal team. Certainly don't think we're going to outmuscle this Arsenal team. And I think smash and grab in the Emirates is the way that we're going to do this. 1-0 to the Villa as opposed to 1-0 to the Arsenal is the way to win this game today for sure. I absolutely think that. Where are we here? Yeah, Ben Klein says, let's get Archer more than 2 minutes tonight. Well, yes, hopefully we'll be able to bring him on for 20 minutes when we're 3-0 up and get him some game time. That'd be fantastic. Lads, I've just realized how many people are watching this. Holy mogoly. Absolutely unbelievable. Thank you so much. Touching nearly 500 people watching this. A man in complete and utter despair, swimming in his emotions, trying to figure out if left is right, if today is Tuesday, if today is Wednesday, whatever day. Thank you so much. Can I get a thumbs up on the video? If you love me, you'll do it. That'd be great. I really appreciate it, guys. No, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. This is just like, it's mind blowing every time I see that number nearly tip up towards 500. As I've said before, there's some TV shows here in Ireland that don't get 500 people watching them. So it's always an honor to have that, and I really appreciate it. I really, really do. Where else are we? Let me just scroll down through here, and I'm just picking these at random, guys. As I say, I do apologize. Yeah, if we win today, keep off the Guinness. I will not. If we win today, I could just be literally opening cans of Guinness and pouring them over my head, because I think it would be an absolutely. If we win today, and I hope this doesn't sound hyperbolic, and I hope this doesn't sound like I'm just saying it for clout, but I think a win today, with the ebb that the club feels like at the moment and has felt like for the last 2 weeks, I think a win today would be monumental. I think it'd be great for the club. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not one of these spiteful people who says, I hope we lose today so Stephen Gerrard gets a sack. That will never ever be me. And I know there's not that many people out there, so please don't think that I'm casting aspersions that way. I know everybody here wants Aston Villa to win, but I think a win today would be like genuinely, like, I think the people in Sky Sports News would be like, how did that happen? It's a glitch in the matrix. But I'd still love it, and I'd dance around, and it would be a no pants podcast for sure, I think. And Pat Max has it here. He says 4-1 Aston Villa. Remember I said that, just watch. That's exactly what I'm here for. That's exactly what I'm here for as well. All right, guys, what I'm going to do is, as I say, I feel like I'm rambling more than I often do here. So I'm going to read out a couple more comments. If you want to start putting in your score predictions in here, we'll have a quick rattle through those, and then I'll get you back on your seats half an hour before kickoff, hopefully. So Justin W says Cash will score a goal today. I think AVFC agent Gerrard, I think you said there. And there's definitely someone I need to shout out in the podcast here in a minute. I absolutely have to shout out somebody in the podcast here in a minute. I've just seen somebody commenting there from home. That's great. Cash will score a goal today. I think I read AVFC agent Gerrard said that he's scored 2 goals and had 2 assists in the last year and a half or something like that. So production from him would be appreciated. One thing that I'll go blue in the face about, and anybody who's listened to the podcast for a long time will know, is that I get really frustrated when Matty Cash goes to stand somebody up as if he's going to run at them and run into the box, and then he goes down the line and he chips across to the back post. It absolutely drives me scatty. I swear, it literally. I'd take a yard brush to my face if I have to see it again. Like he needs to, like the amount of times I've pinpointed whereby he could win penalties by running directly at the fullback and at least trying something, because he gets square on them. He's brilliant at squaring defenders up when he's running at them, like Ronaldo used to do when he first broke into the Premier League. But he never backs himself to run at him. Yes, if you run at him and you lose the ball, what about it? If you're going to clip the ball to the back post, we've no chance of winning it anyway. So at least try and win a penalty. That's one thing that annoys me about Matty Cash. But yeah, look, that's for a completely different podcast. Evan Fox, if this is the Evan Fox that I know and love so dearly, Evan Fox, thanks a million for watching, even if you are an Arsenal fan. That's and if you are the Evan Fox, I hope you're going to the game. You're back over in London. I hope you're going to the game as well tonight. But try and take it handy on us as well. That'd be nice. Brooks Little World says, is this Gerrard falling on his sword made of tactical principles? I think we could have a massive, like if I did a phone-in show, Jesus, I'd love to be able to do a phone-in show. That'd be hilarious. Actually, I might try and have a look at that. If I could do a phone-in show, I think we'd be able to get two people from opposite sides there. One person would say he's falling on his tactical sword, and we'd have somebody else that would have just as many arguments to say he has no tactics whatsoever. And I think that would be a fascinating debate, because I think both of them could make very, very good arguments. I think both of them would make very, very good arguments. But I don't know. I don't know if he's falling on his sword made of tactical principles, because I think we set out well, as Paddy has said, at the start of games, and then we've got nothing to change them in game. So I'm not sure. It's a good one. I'm going to think about it. For sure. Anyway, here we go. Let's start it. Slodger says 5,000-0 to Aston Villa. Brian Kavanagh says 89-0. I presume that's to Villa. The 5-1 Arsenal says I really like things. Mark Stevenson says 2-1 Villa. 1-0 to Villa. Digne free kick. Oh, I wouldn't mind that. British Mick says 6-1. I think that's Villa, British Mick. You're usually a beacon of positivity. I know that's Villa. Rob Henry says 7-6 Villa and penalties. 3-0 Arsenal. Sorry to be so pessimistic. No, look, as I say, it's a valid prediction for absolutely sure. 2 goals, 3 assists. Yeah, that was it. 2 goals, 3 assists in 2 years for Matty Cash. I knew it was something like that. 3-1 to Villa, says Gaz. 6-5, not so sure to whom though, says John the Jenny. Brooke says 3-0 Villa. Hart says 3-0 Arsenal. Hart says 2-1 Villa. 2-2 coming behind twice. Ramsey and Archer off the bench. Could be a game like that, like the United game of last year where Coutinho made his debut. Could be something like that. We could bring Coutinho off the bench here again, and he could have a barnstormer like we did against United. I'd be here for that. I'd love that. Lee Mal says 2-1 to Villa. Rob Henry says win it for AEG. He said some really lovely things. He had some really nice things, and you could feel that he was part of the club, because even when he said that he's going to leave all his Brummie friends behind and he's taking little Brummie back home with him, that kind of got me. That caught me right here. Much and all, as we have maligned him, we're not going to rewrite history. We were critical at times of his tenure in Aston Villa, but I think towards the end here, it must have been difficult for him, but a consummate professional, never really gave out, trained with the kids, stayed with the kids during pre-season because his partner was given birth, and came up with some good goals for the club. So wish him absolutely all the best with PSV. Really do. And I think it's a great move for him. 3-0 Arsenal, says Kevin Donnelly. Adrian McKeever says 5-1 Arsenal. 1-0 to Villa, says Mr. Nicky Cullen. Very good. 3-0 Villa. I put Jesus Saka and Odegaard in my FPL. It's a lock. Hans says 2-2, the most optimistic I can be. 1-1 last minute super sub Archer equalizer. I think even something like that would be something we could build upon, and I think we'd feel optimistic after something like that if it was our last minute super sub equalizer, where we could all have that moment where the commentator screams at the top of his lungs. They run over to the away fans. You see the small bit of dejection in the Arsenal players. It gets back to the halfway line. There's just about time to kick off. It goes back and they kick it up into the air. The referee blows the whistle and Villa players' hands are in the air and people are running in, and there's I think even something like that, a moment like that, would be good for the morale of this team. I think it would be. And look, things like that can be changing points, even if it doesn't seem like there will be a turning or a changing point for this team at the moment. You just never know what happens. Has anybody here seen the Mighty Ducks? Like, that's what I'm trying to hope happens with this team. If you haven't seen the Mighty Ducks as well, go and watch Mighty Ducks. Great film. Be Happy says 2-2 for me, Watkins and Bailey. Sorry, I clicked on a couple of transfer things there. Not that I'm ignoring transfer things. Well, I kind of am. I'm ignoring them with peace and love. I'm ignoring them with peace and love. That's what I'm doing, because I will be coming back to all those, and tomorrow will just be wall-to-wall transfer stuff whenever I get time to do any transfer things. If anything breaks, don't worry. We'll be on. Michael, Cloudy with a chance UFO says 3-0. Arsenal? Villa? Ashley Kirby says 3 or 4-0 Arsenal. The fullbacks are going to leave far too much space in behind for Saka. I can't agree any more than that. That's my biggest fear. Marine Boy says a heavy heart 4-0 Arsenal. 2-2 says Western Ood. And we're going to find one more. Dark Side says 1-1. Kieran Sheringham says 1-0 to Villa. 3-2 says Conor Hennessy, all the way from Brazil with a last minute Luis Screamer. He's due one. It's Bournemouth in the second day of the season 2 years ago since he last did it. So 3 years ago now, I think, since he last did it. So he is absolutely due one. And that's going to do it for our rundown tonight. Guys, for anybody who's joined, I would really appreciate it if you give us thumbs up as well. That would really be cool. And as I say, I really do appreciate all the work that you guys do. I really appreciate all the effort you do coming to the streams and commenting on the streams and the engagement. The voicemail, I might even do a separate or secondary voicemail pod, because I'm just conscious that the voicemail may be out of date by the time we get to them next Monday, and people might have stuff to say. So if you guys do want to leave some voicemails, we might even add in some of those. We might do a pre-recorded one of those and release it maybe tomorrow or the day after, once the transfer window closes. But just for those of you, again, the voicemail is speakpipe.com/for the Love of Paul McGrath pod, and we'd love to hear any of your voicemails. We play them out, we dissect them, we talk about them, and you guys get to have your say in a more nuanced and a more coherent matter. It's as opposed to maybe just putting in one singular line or having a character limit, in the comments here. It really gets you guys involved. So if you do wish to do that, I'd absolutely love it. And we will do one. Yeah, I'm going to commit that we'll do one probably. We'll do one and we'll release it on maybe Friday. And that would be cool. You never know, we could have a very ecstatic one after a win. That would be fantastic. Guys, I'm going to leave you guys go again. It's half an hour, 29 minutes to be exact, until kickoff. Get yourself sorted before the game. Thumbs up if you haven't given a thumbs up already. Really appreciate everything you guys do for the podcast. Listen, let's stick together tonight, whatever we do. Don't be fighting with other Villa fans if we lose tonight. Tomorrow's another day, and look, as I say, we hope and we cross our fingers and we pray, and you never know, game has to be played. They could get a man sent. Xhaka could be sent off for the kickoff, and we could get 3 penalties and win this game 3-2, and you never know. That's why they play the games, because nothing is ever won on paper. So have a great afternoon. We'll see you again for a post-match, and all that's left to say is up to Villa.